Today's puzzle initially baffles even chess engines, so if you experienced any carbon-based confusion, then you know you're in good company. The computer initially spits out zeros, suggesting a completely balanced game, but I assure you the position is far from tranquil beneath the surface. Now, as we take a look at this position, it's a complete mess. We do enjoy an extra rook compared to black's 2 extra minor pieces. Now, of course, we want to think about our king's safety, and our king on a1 isn't exactly feeling great about its current situation. But on the plus side, there at least isn't an immediate way for black to attack our king. Now black's king is also seeing better days, crouching in the corner, and is quite exposed on the back rank as well as across the long diagonal, just like our own king. Now, as we prioritize our most forcing moves, we notice that queen on f8 is nearly mate, if not for that annoying queen. With this in mind, we may burn quite a bit of energy trying to persuade this queen to abandon its critical post. One of the initial equal moves that the computer spits out is rook d5, and as a human, we may consider this move, trying to remove the guards so we can access the critical f8 square. But as the work creates tension against the queen, it also reveals tension between the queens themselves. And although we may feel initially excited about bishop takes f4 because after all in opposite-colored bishop positions, it's like we're attacking with an extra piece as this bishop is unable to defend the dark squares, we prepare to attack. Unfortunately, this just isn't forcing enough, so not only can black's king waltz to the g8 square. Another solid idea is to play rook e6, preparing to meet any back rank disturbances with rook e8. Black's position stands firm. We're simply running out of ideas. Now, since our focal point of attack is on f8, we may also think about playing queen h6, continuing to eye the f8 square while clearing a launching pad for the rook. Now somehow if we hypnotize our opponent into reactive thinking, rook a8 is still holding the balance for black. But as we focus on moving forward, we also have to think about the space the queen left behind in this case. The rook is simply hanging with check, so our position is simply collapsing. Now so far we've understandably tried to figure out a way how to remove the queen in order to attack the king on f8, and we looked for other avenues of attack. There really isn't a clear path to follow. At this point we have to change our mindset a little bit and think about the forcing queen f8, because after the exchange of queens, we are smoking the king out of the corner. Now, although it looks like the king may be escaping, there's actually a way to force the king onto the h-file, which is restricted by our pawn on g4. The surprising first move to our puzzle solution is forcing a trade of queens, because after we confront the king, forcing it to g7, our rooks are doing an excellent job keeping the enemy king in a box, and although the king is threatening our rook, we're able to defend that rook temporarily by sacrificing our bishop. Confronting the king while x-raying the defense of the rook, black has no choice but to enter the restricted h-file, moving out of the back rank frying pan into the h-file mating net. We'll notice the king doesn't have any forward squares thanks to our pawn and rook working together, but the king is dreaming of returning to g7, so we want to take advantage of the space that king left behind by playing the quiet rook g8. While black's king is certainly feeling the heat, completely restricted to the h6 square, so when the opposing king doesn't have a single legal move available, the tactical alarm bell should certainly be ringing. Now bishop confronts one of our rooks. We have to take a moment to pause and ask ourselves, do we need to react? And by asking that question, we can find the same solution as we're about to see in the puzzle. The puzzle tries to lead us astray by offering a rook. Now, the point is, if we capture this rook, not only is king g5 good enough to escape the mating net, black can also play for the win. By centralizing the knight, forking the rook and pawn, you know it's not a good sign as black's minor pieces begin to swarm around our king. After this disruptive move, as well as the move we forecasted earlier, bishop f7, the same thought process will lead us to the puzzle solution. Black is trying to distract our eyes from the main prize, the restricted king on h6. Now, if we attack the king immediately, the king is able to escape using the space our pawn left behind. g5 is such a tempting idea, but how exactly do we prevent the king from escaping on h5? By asking the powerful question, do I need to react, followed by figuring out how to play g5 without allowing the escape on h5, we're able to discover the beautiful forcing conclusion, rook h5. Unlike black's sacrifice, our rook's sacrifice is an offer that cannot be refused. The only option is to capture the rook. This idea not only attracts the bishop to the h5 square, denying the king a critical escape square, it also opens up the g-file, allowing our rook to support the pawn, delivering a beautiful mate, solving today's daily puzzle. Thanks for watching.